So now we look at what is
what's next?
Coming next. So this is the one that came up. I'm really excited because this is another favorite to me. Electric Light Orchestra, ELO, and their album Out of the Blue.
Have we listened to any of their music before? Ooh, this is a gatefold.
Yeah. So very sci-fi inspired, right?
When's it from?
This is from
1977?
Yeah. Let's say that. Yeah, it's from 1977.
This is it right here.
Perfect. Especially, you'll definitely know Mr. Blue Sky,
Really?
I would imagine, because it's iconic in the Guardians movie.
Oh, okay. You can't always trust that I've heard some of these classic songs, but I have seen Guardians of the Galaxy several
it's what
times.
basically starts, is it the second one maybe? With like the little younger Groot dancing to it at the start. I don't know, I'm getting too nerdy. But
Love it. That's not nerdy. That's mainstream.
Hello everybody and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle and to our latest episode of Classic Albums 101. I've got Jana with me.
Hi.
And this is the show where we listen to a classic album together and discuss it. And we always like to start these shows now with a quick song reaction. We just do one song from the album that we react to, and then we'll go off on our separate corners, listen to the album separately, and then discuss the full album at the second half of the video. So hopefully you enjoy that format. Let us know in the comments, and we'll go forward with the song listen. So
let's do it.
The album this week is Electric Light Orchestra's Out of the Blue, which is a nice double album, so a nice lengthy album to listen to.
Awesome.
With a lot of good stuff on it. I decided to go with a track called Sweet Talkin' Woman.
Oh.
I think it was, I believe, one of the singles, but I felt like it probably had the best chance of you not being familiar with it, so.
Okay. Do you think I'm familiar with some of the other songs on this album?
Perhaps. I know you've heard Mr. Blue Sky, even if you don't know from the title. Yeah.
Oh.
And then Turn to Stone is the opener, which you may be familiar with if you heard it too. But maybe not. I don't know. Sometimes you surprise me when you haven't heard stuff that I thought most people have heard. So,
Is it like in a movie or something? I don't know.
I don't know. It could be.
Okay.
Possible.
That's how I know a lot of classic songs, is because they're in movies.
Yeah, I'm sure Mr. Blue Sky is in a lot of movies. In fact, we talked about it at the end of last episode that it's in the Guardians movie.
I don't know which one though you're talking about. So
yeah, but we'll get into that with the full album.
Surprise.
Yeah, I think you'll have fun when you get to that one. So
okay.
But yeah, for this listen, I thought Sweet Talkin' Woman would be a good safe pick here. So
sounds good. Let's do it.
All right, let's get a feel for ELO.
Searching on a one-way street. I was hoping for a chance to meet. I was waiting for the operator on the line. She's gone so long. What can I do? Where could she be? No, don't know what I'm gonna do. I gotta get back to you. You gotta stop.
There you go. The fade out's complete.
I love that little song.
Yeah?
Yeah. It had like a lot of different like elements, like a lot of things that I loved.
Yeah.
Like I felt like the verses had like it almost sounded like a 1950s doo-wop.
Oh,
influence.
I had that feel. For
Yeah.
sure.
And then there's a moment towards the end where it, like they went a cappella for a second, which I love that.
That was cool.
So fun. It was just a great little bop. This just proves it. I love pop songs and I love the way they sound. So this felt like just a good like 70s pop song. Wait, is this from the 70s? When is this from?
Yeah,
I don't
it's
even
from
know.
the 70s. I believe, I want to say 77.
Okay.
But let me make sure. Yeah, 77.
Well, it was great. I loved it. I love this type of song. I love the sound. I think it's happy and fun, and it's only 4 minutes. And
Yeah, I'm sure you love that part.
I'm on board.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm excited for this. I don't
You
really
had
know.
no idea what it was.
I don't know what to expect from ELO.
Yeah, ELO.
Right? ELO.
Electric Light Orchestra.
Yeah.
Is what it stands for.
I don't really know what to expect from them, so I was pleasantly surprised.
Awesome. Yeah, they have a little bit of a Beatles influence, and they're known, because of the Electric Light Orchestra name. They have some orchestral moments too.
Yeah.
You heard kind of the strings and
everything
stuff in there.
Starts out that way,
But yeah, very poppy. In fact, this, it's almost teetering into like disco era pop music, So some of their earlier albums are probably more associated with prog, and I feel like this is where they're starting to get much more poppy.
Yeah.
They always had a pop influence before, but this is where they're fully embracing it and just taking on that sound. And I think it's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of fun stuff on this record that I think you'll like this.
Yay!
So yeah.
I'm excited.
That's the album we're going to be listening to. We're going to go off now, and we'll come back and talk about the full album experience. So transition time, right?
Yep.
Transition. And we're back. All right. So now we've gone off on our separate places and listened to the album in full, and now this is the time where we do our full album discussion. So this album that we're talking about is Electric Light Orchestra's Out of the Blue. Big double album that came out in the 70s. Long. Yeah, it's a little bit of a longer one. But yeah, this one came out in 1977. Just a little bit, usually I like to do a little bit of background about the band, I guess. Looking into their history, they were founded in Birmingham, UK in 1970. So I think Jeff Lynne has been the leader of ELO. So he's the main figurehead, songwriter, person in charge. So they had a pretty strong career, especially in the UK, I believe. They've had 12 original studio albums, 28 hit singles in the UK alone. At their peak between 1974 and 1981, they amassed a string of 9 consecutive gold, platinum, and multi-platinum albums that were one of the biggest arena and stadium draws during the 70s and early 80s. So pretty big band here that we're talking about, with some pretty noticeable hits. This one in particular is their 7th studio album that, as I mentioned, came out in 1977. Looks like it was released earlier in the US and then 4 days later in the UK in October. This is one of their most successful commercial records. Sold about 10 million copies worldwide at least by 2007. So it could be more by now. I don't know. So yeah, it's a big double album, and they're one of those bands that's respected a lot in the progressive community because they introduce a lot of interesting like symphonic orchestration kind of elements to their sound, but there is still quite a bit of poppiness as well to what they do.
I think that was my favorite part about this album, was that it had all that orchestra backing in it, and I think it just elevated all of the rock and pop songs like it so well. Like a hot take, all rock songs should have orchestra in the background. It just fills in the sound so well. I love it. I just love that sound, and it was so good, and so many of the songs were just really, really great. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes, to me, I think about them, they have almost a Beatles-ish sound, but then brought into the 70s and with some orchestra. That's kind of how I think about ELO, is like Beatles brought into the 70s and then add like an orchestra to it. And you get a little bit of a flavor of what their sound is like in my mind. So that's a great combination for me because I'm a huge Beatles fanatic and I do love the orchestration and the added elements behind it as well. And I you know, hot take, but yeah, I can see what you're saying there. And I think that's why progressive rock appeals to me, because it's not just your standard, you know, guitar, bass, drums, rock music typically. Usually there's more added elements. There's, you know, keyboards at the very least doing a lot of this kind of stuff. But then some bands add in orchestration, or they add in like a flute, or, you know, a violin or different horn sounds or something to make it a little bit more dynamic and interesting than just your standard rock and roll trio setup, you know. Even though bands can do that really well too, like look at something like Rush, that's just a trio of musicians being able to sound really expansive and incredible in their own fashion. So, but yeah, I think that's a cool concept.
As for my favorite songs on this album, I mean, of course, the number one song is everyone's number one song, which was the Mr. Blue Sky.
Mr. Blue Sky.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
And it's not only do I think it just is the best sounding song on the album, like it's just so enjoyable, but it also has been used in pop culture, you know, notably in the Guardians of the Galaxy, and I love the MCU, and so it's just brought back all those good fun feelings for me, and it's just a great song, so I think so. It's happy and you know, I just like the sound of it.
Yeah, it's just pretty much a perfect pop song, and it's become possibly their biggest hit, I think, throughout their career. Even though they have many hit singles, it's definitely in the top. And maybe you didn't know this as you were listening through it, I'm guessing, but this group of songs that this is kind of at the end of a group of songs that people consider, they call it the Concerto for a Rainy Day segment, which starts with Standing in the Rain, continues with Big Wheels, then Summer and Lightning, and then closes with Mr. Blue Sky. And these all have to do with weather, and the first three tracks are more about like this rainy weather and stuff, and then this is kind of like the break in the storm and like the more bright sunny day, you know.
It makes sense because it's a bright sunny song.
Yeah, so, exactly. Yeah. So it's kind of the perfect culmination of that concerto, which is like the third side of the vinyl at least. So and one of my picks would probably be the beginning of that foursome of songs, Standing in the Rain, which starts with a lot of that orchestration, and it's almost it's a lot of instrumental stuff going on in there. There's a little bit of singing sections as well, but it's a really cool epic beginning to this suite, and it's cool to hear them just really focus on the orchestra and these other sounds, and you get some, you know, some different sound effects and stuff to mimic that raininess and some of their like vocoder effects that they do throughout this album. So really cool opening to this suite of songs, and I thought it was a strong piece to start that section of the album with.
Speaking of sound effects, one of the other songs that I like is Across the Border. Okay. And it had a couple different things in it. There was like, that's the one with the train, right?
Yeah, it starts with like a train.
And there was like, because it's across the border, it's like there was some like mariachi. Yeah. Mexican like instrumental sounds, you know, and it was, I liked that one a lot. I thought that was a fun one.
Yeah, that's definitely a cool one. And I like that throughout the album that they're able to do these cool different sounds and stuff that like Night in the City that comes a little bit before that also has a cool orchestrated bit that sounds like those city street sounds and stuff. I think it's done through the keyboard, but you can kind of imagine being in a bustling city at night, and it has that kind of darker feel that you're in this kind of, you know, crowded city in a dark area perhaps, but there's a lot of activity and bustling stuff going on. So this was one that stood out to me as a favorite too. It still has those great catchy pop hooks that they're known for and almost a bouncy fun vibe to it, but then there's a dark undertone and then these cool sound effects and things that they bring into it to evoke that feeling of a cityscape at night and how that would feel musically.
My third pick has like those sound effects too. Was
Yeah.
the Jungle song, the one called, is it just Jungle?
Yeah, it's just Jungle. Mm-hmm.
I liked that one a lot too, and I thought that one just sounded fun. It sounded like, it's not that song, but you know that song Uga Chaka, Uga Chaka. It had like stuff in it like that, you know.
Yeah, more than a feeling.
Yeah. And so that's what that song reminded me of, and it just made me enjoy it so much. It was just fun, and it had all these fun songs. If I were to do a fourth, like honorable mention, I think I would do Starlight, because it was like this 70s groove song. and I think it just hit me right at the right time, where I was probably in some traffic, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna sit here and groove to this and be okay in traffic. So
cool.
Anyway, I did 3 and 4, so your turn.
All right, yeah, just to round it out, I really liked, this is probably one of the more like singles, like poppier songs, but I liked It's Over, which is the second track on the record. Begins with that like sweeping orchestration that's throughout the album, settles into a nice 70s pop feel to it. So I like that juxtaposition, as we're talking about, of that cool backing orchestration, but this happy like Beatles-esque pop and harmonies that they're doing. There's even a bit of a classical inspiration, I feel like, in the keys during an instrumental section in that track. So a great single. Turn to Stone, which starts the album, is another just super cool single from them. That's one I knew going in, because it's one of their bigger hit songs and hits that same kind of vibe as well. And then the final track of the album, Wild West Hero, I thought was a cool anthemic little piano ballad, but then they insert these cool little ragtime piano type blues kind of sections that break it up and give you this little fast-paced, just interesting moment. And there's also like this really short like a cappella section as well that is really interesting in that final track. So those are some of like the bigger hit singles, but they're hits for a reason, because I think they're just really well done and clever in how they combine these pop sensibilities, but then the orchestration and these other added elements to make it more quirky and fun and varied for the listener. So those were some of mine.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
Great fun album.
Great fun album. Good pop music with a little bit of extra seasoning with that orchestration. Now this is the part where we rank the albums that we've done so far this year for classic albums. This is our 7th selection that we've done this year, so we have 6 already on the board. So now you have to decide where it slots into your lineup here.
I would put it at number 3.
3.
4.
4.
3.
3.
4. Billy Joel, The Strangers first, The Beatles, Revolver was second, Iron Maiden, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, and then this one.
Okay, that's solid.
I am unsure about this decision.
I think that's a good decision.
Okay. Where'd you put it?
All right, for mine, this is tricky. And I hate to do this, but I might rank it a little low, I think. Only because I love my top 4 so much, which is Supertramp's Crime of the Century, Iron Maiden, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, Billy Joel's The Stranger, and the Beatles, Revolver. I would have to slot this at number 5 after the Beatles, I think. Electric Light Orchestra, Out of the Blue, which I don't think is that odd of a take to say the Beatles' Revolver is above this album, but okay, you can whistle at me.
I'll whistle at you anytime.
Oh, that's cute. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, part of the appeal to ELO is that they do have a Beatles style sound to them and their poppiness, but how can you beat just like the Beatles themselves when you're, like, I don't know, the Revolver's such a classic album, which is already ranked low. That should be like up at number 1, but
and you have it at 4?
Yeah, but I just personally found some of the other ones kind of fun surprises as we went through this process. So I don't know. Rankings all, it's all over the place. It's hard to come with a definitive idea, but for right now, I think number 5 is fair.
I think that's fine. Good job, babe.
Thanks. I'm glad you approve
I
of
approve.
my list here.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe for the finale, I'll just wipe it all out and reshuffle it. Just re-rank it. But for now...
You'll shuffle it?
That's our show.
What's next?
All right, so next time, which is basically the finale for the year, you know, this will probably be our last one for 2023. I thought... I was looking at the ones we've done so far. Don't spoil it. I'm just kidding.
It's over there. I know it is.
You nerd. You're ruining the big reveal. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I was looking at our lineup of albums so far we've done this year, and I noticed that we have a lot in the 70s, obviously, which makes sense because we focus a lot on 70s music, especially me being a prog fan. We've done a couple things in the 80s, Kate Bush and Iron Maiden notably. So I thought we should pick something 90s flavored to give a little bit of variety.
I love the 90s.
So the album that I've been wanting to get into from the 90s, that I think is a pretty big major 90s album, is this guy.
What's this? I have heard of this.
So this is OK Computer by Radiohead, which is a big album that is...
Do I know any of these songs?
I'm not sure if you would. If anything, probably something like Karma Police, I would guess. But even that, maybe not. But maybe just like from growing up in the 90s, you heard it somewhere.
I grew up in the 90s. Class of 98. Woo woo.
Yeah, this came out right around similar time. I think it's 97, if I am right.
I really didn't get into radio music until... This is the gatefold. Until like 90... My sophomore into my junior year. So like... I don't know, 96, 97. But even then it was a lot of pop and soft rock. But it at least like changed from like all Disney all the time. I was branching out.
That's good at least.
I was still, I don't know, still very juvenile in my musical listening tastes up until my mid-teens. Then I started listening to the radio.
Nice.
I was like, oh, it was because I started driving. When I started driving, like, I hate just like having silence when driving.
Fair.
I've always hated that, and so started listening to the radio. So I have no idea if I've heard these. Is this like punk? Is it metal? Is it, what is it?
No, I think...
Rock and roll?
Yeah, you know, alternative rock, perhaps.
Okay.
Some people even consider this, like, progressive in some aspects. That's kind of why I've been wanting to hear it. This is one that a lot of prog fans enjoy, but, you know, probably more in the alternative, indie rock, maybe vein, I would suppose. Technically.
I think this is a great choice.
So I thought it'd be fun. It's one I've wanted to hear for a long time anyways. I've heard several tracks from it, but I don't think I've really listened to it fully. And I've been wanting to dive into Radiohead. So this is an excuse to do it.
Yay. I'm excited.
So that should be a fun one. A little different than some of the ones we've done. So wanted something a bit different flavor. So. All right, so that's our show. I think we're good, right?
Yeah, we're good.
So thank you guys.
We checked off all the things.
Thank you guys for joining us. Hopefully you appreciated this episode. If you have thoughts about Electric Light Orchestra, ELO, and
they were fun.
Their album. Yeah, we enjoyed this. Even if we both, I mean, you ranked it like mid of the pack, and mine's maybe mid to lower. But yeah, I think it's an incredible record and definitely worthy of the classic status. So really fun. So thank you guys for joining us, and please catch us in a future episode. All right, bye everybody. Enjoy the music.
Enjoy the music.